Escobar Gaviria, the leader of the big-time cocaine business. Nicknamed El Patrón, Escobar rocked the scene as the boss of the Medellín Cartel from the 70s to the early 90s. He didn't just sit back and relax, he ran the show from start to finish. From getting the coca-based paste in the Andean nations to making sure the U.S. couldn't get enough of the stuff, he was the maestro. And guess what? He wasn't just good at running a drug empire, he took on the state itself, giving them a run for their money on extradition. How? Well, he proved that if you bring enough chaos and violence to the table, even the big guys in charge might start negotiating. Now, that's a story worth diving into. Imagine a world where a guy with a modest background becomes the big boss of a notorious gang. That's Pablo Escobar's story. Escobar, a dropout due to family financial struggles, started with small-time crimes like smuggling stereos and swiping tombstones for a quick buck. But things took a wild turn when he dove into the cocaine game, forming the Medellín Cartel in the 70s with the brainy Ochoa Vasquez brothers. At first, the Ochoas were the business whizzes, while Escobar handled the protection gig. But soon enough, he rose to be the head honcho. In the 80s and early 90s, Escobar practically owned the whole cocaine scene. He ran the show, bringing in tons of coca bases from places like Peru and Bolivia to cook up cocaine in hidden jungle labs in Colombia. Escobar didn't mess around with selling drugs in Colombia. His focus was on the global market. To reach the U.S. and other countries in the north, he even set up an airborne path through the Caribbean. They were like the Amazon Prime of illegal substances, shipping out a mind-boggling 15 tons daily. And get this, in the 80s, they were responsible for more than 80% of all the cocaine reaching the U.S. On the flip side, Escobar and the Medellín Cartel had buddies in high places, giving them a shield against the law. Escobar's business was so big that in addition to planes, helicopters, cars, trucks, and boats, he even bought 2 submarines for transporting his cocaine into the U.S. Pablo Escobar's way of handling problems was plata o plomo, meaning silver, bribes, or lead, bullets. While he preferred the former, he had no hesitation about the latter option, earning a reputation of a brutal and a ruthlessness boss. He allegedly killed more than 4,000 people, including several police officers and government officials. In 1989, the cartel was blamed for detonating a bomb on a plane that was carrying an alleged informant. More than 100 people died. Here's the twist. As the gang grew, so did the chaos. Kidnappings by guerrilla groups made the government team up with these bad guys. When the Ochoa sisters got kidnapped in '81, it birthed a paramilitary group called Death to Kidnappers, funded by none other than the Medellín Cartel. As if that wasn't enough, in the mid-'80s, Escobar took control of his hometown, Medellín, by creating a shady debt collection service called the Oficina de Abogado. Imagine a gangster running a debt collection agency. It was based in the town hall of Abogado, Escobar's old stomping ground, where he'd use the office to collect debts from other traffickers. If they refused, he'd send his hired guns, the sicarios, after them. Escobar, unlike many modern drug traffickers, wasn't shy about showing off his wealth. In the 1980s, his cartel raked in $420 million per week, landing him on Forbes' billionaires list for 7 years straight. Escobar, dining from solid gold plates in his multi-million-dollar estate, complete with its very own zoo. Despite his flashy lifestyle, Escobar played the part of a man of the people. He painted himself as a champion of the poor, claiming persecution from the upper classes. He went all out to win hearts. opening a public zoo, building 70 soccer fields for communities, and even providing housing for those in need. He was nicknamed Robin Hood, as he spent a lot of money helping poor communities. Despite his efforts, Pablo faced roadblocks. The upper classes in Medellín rejected him, denying his entry into their exclusive social club. His political aspirations were also crushed in the early 80s when he got the boot from Colombia's Liberal Party and lost his spot as a deputy congressman. Escobar's life was a roller coaster of wealth, power, and social struggles. In the 1980s, things got intense in Colombia when the Medellín Cartel, led by Pablo Escobar, declared war on the Colombian government. In April 1984, the Justice Minister, Rodrigo Lara Bonilla, got shot by Escobar's hitmen. The Colombian government hits back by signing a law to send Escobar to the United States. In retaliation, Escobar's gang goes on a killing spree, taking out judges, cops, and even journalists in the late 1980s. Fast forward to the 1989 elections, and Escobar's crew assassinates the Liberal Party candidate, Luis Carlos Galán Sarmiento. They also tried to bump off the replacement candidate, Cesar Augusto Gaviria Trujillo, but failed. Escobar manages to dodge extradition by negotiating his surrender and building a cozy cathedral jail, but don't let the name fool you, it's more like a luxury hideout. From there, he pulls the strings, playing puppet master. Extortion was another trick up Escobar's sleeve. When he was chilling at the cathedral, he made a tidy sum by squeezing money out of the fellow drug dealers, who had to cough up a fixed amount every month. However, Escobar's influence starts to be deprived. His own cartel buddies turn against him when he starts squeezing them for cash, demanding hefty taxes between $200,000 and $1 million. In a twist of fate, in July 1992, Escobar's men stumble upon $20 million at cartel member Fernando Galeano's place. Escobar calls a meeting at the cathedral with Galeano and his associate Gerardo Moncada, but it ends in both of them getting whacked by Escobar's hitmen. The president, Cesar Gaviria, decides enough is enough and orders Escobar to be moved from the cathedral to a military base in Bogotá. But before the transfer can happen, Escobar pulls off a great escape. As time goes on, Escobar's empire crumbles. Colombian authorities, the U.S. government, and rival criminals were all after Pablo Escobar. His former buddies team up with the government, and piece by piece, they dismantle everything he built. With no money, no luck, and just one bodyguard left, Colombian authorities finally catch up with Escobar. On December 2, 1993, they took him down on the rooftop of a house in Medellín. There have been many claims of responsibility for his killing, but who did it remains unclear. One story suggests that a guy named Don Berna claims his brother fired the shot that ended Escobar's reign. The bloody corpse of the world's most powerful drug lord was splayed across the tile roof in the city that was once his safest redoubt. Escobar wasn't just sitting on mountains of money, he invested in the finer things in life: fancy goods, real estate, and art. Rumor has it that he hid his fortune in secret spots, burying it on his farms and stashing it under floors of many of his houses. In addition, while his family was on the run in 1992 through 93, Escobar reportedly burned $2 million in order to keep his daughter warm. Escobar's death marked the end of one era of drug trafficking and the start of a new chapter. Since 1993, the stories and legends about the drug lord have only grown. The powerful Medellín cartel that Escobar once led is now a thing of the past, as is the organized structure he helped establish, where they controlled everything from making the drugs to selling them. Even though the Colombian region of Antioquia, with Medellín as its heart, still plays a crucial role in the nation's cocaine trade, today's drug leaders are nothing like Escobar. After his downfall, The way things worked in Colombia's underworld, especially in Medellín, changed. It went from being controlled by a few powerful figures to a more scattered and diverse setup. The Oficina, which originated in Envigado, evolved into a mafia federation that oversees nearly all criminal activities in Medellín. The story of crime in the city took a new turn, with a different cast of characters and a transformed landscape. Now, La Oficina is not only involved in drugs, but also in extortion, prostitution, and human trafficking. As we conclude today's video, we eagerly await your feedback and thoughts about the content we presented. Your opinion matters greatly to us, so don't hesitate to share it in the comment section below. Also, consider subscribing to our channel to stay updated with our latest content.